Welcome back to another episode of All Things Everything presented by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo.
And I'm Sabrina.
And this is episode 31, which is awesome because that's backwards from 13, which is my favorite number. So this is going to be a great episode. So today we're going to talk about pretty much one thing and one thing only. And if you guys haven't seen the video, you should go back and see it. Last weekend, I got the opportunity. Unfortunately, I had to go without you, but I did get the opportunity to go to Hernando, Mississippi, and hang out with HowToBBQRight, their whole crew, and some other ambassadors as well. It was nothing short of an incredible weekend, and I really, sometimes even like as of right now, I was watching back the footage of the trip because we're filming this on Wednesday, Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday, yeah. So we're filming this on Wednesday, and I'm watching back the trip, and there's actually multiple times where I just smile because, I mean, obviously I lived in that moment too, and it was just surreal in a lot of different moments of that trip. So just to kind of put it out there, we got invited a while back to a HowToBBQRight Social Event. The plan was for you and I to go. We were all going to drive over there together. Dad was going to go with us, and while we did our thing, Dad was going to hold down the fort, hang out with the kids, and, you know, do what Dad does, which is support us, and we love him for that. Unfortunately, we agreed to go to the event, and then, dun dun dun, right? The girls' ballet and hip-hop recital ended up getting announced, and it was on the same exact weekend.
Well, what had happened was the dates for their recital had been put out for a while, and so when we got invited to this trip, they had sent in their email like 3 different weekends that would be possible for it, right?
Yeah.
So in my head, I kept thinking it was that first date. So I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near the day of their recital until we were, trying to get boarding for our dog. And I'm like, I get the dates, and then I'm like, wait a minute, something's familiar about those dates.
Mm-hmm.
And that really hit us hard. I mean, I was excited to go and film content.
Well, I will say this, like McKenna, who is one of the ladies that helps me out when it comes to being an ambassador, and also Cheyenne, I mean, they both made it very clear. Also, Rochelle did, that they wish you were able to come. Obviously, we're glad I was able to end up taking Chance. We'll get to that in a little bit, but they did express, even Tyler was like, hey, really sorry Sabrina couldn't make it. The next time, hopefully she's able to come, which I will say I did try and talk the girls out of. I mean, it's a sticky situation, right? Because I didn't, talking them out of it is the wrong way to put it, but I will say that I did ask them, like, hey, are you guys okay with skipping your ballet recital and your hip hop recital? And Penelope is just, it's just not okay to her. And I get it. And I'm not mad at it at all. So originally, believe it or not, I think we were like, well, I guess we're just not going. Right. And then I think maybe after like a week or two, we both kind of sat down and thought about it. And we're like, no, I think I really need to go. You know, I understand it's not cool to miss the girls' recital or anything like that, but man, I mean, how do you pass the opportunity up to go? We weren't exactly sure what was going to happen, but we just kind of felt like, yeah, I think we really need to do this. So, of course, I talked to you about it. I said, hey, are you sure you're okay with me going? I was going to go alone for a little bit. I was just going to fly out alone. And then, of course, they said we could bring somebody else. Like, if you couldn't go, I could bring somebody else. And then we were thinking, and I was like, man, I mean, Chance. Let's see if Chance can go. So, reached out to Rochelle directly and asked her, like, hey, am I able to, bring a completely different person rather than Sabrina? Unfortunate circumstances, whatever. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. So reached out to Chance, and then Chance, of course, was able to come, and he is who went with me on the trip. But yeah, it was, I mean, for a while there, even up to, if I'm being 100% honest, like the day before, I really was like, man, I just wish you could have gone with me. And again, I had a great time with Chance. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I did want you there. I mean, you would always be the first person that I want there because, again, I've said this a million times. GCS is not me. It is us. It's also those kids that are sitting in the living room right now. It's also my dad. It is also Chance too, right? And everybody that supports us. But like at the top of the mountain, it's you and me. And Dad. I mean, just straight up. There's no other way to look at it. So anyway, kind of enough of that. But you stayed back. I went on my way, and we did the damn thing, and we had a blast. We took off on Thursday. We drove straight 12 hours to Hernando, Mississippi. Chance is a big dude. If you guys have never met Chance, Chance is 6'8", former Division I college football player, just a gigantic person, and he's not comfortable in planes because I was going to fly us over there. He's not comfortable in planes, so we drove the truck, and we made it safely, thank the good Lord. And, yeah, Thursday night we just kind of hung out, didn't really do much, got some really, really much-needed rest, and then Friday, really, everything kind of started.
Well, and how was that drive? Because with kids, I guess in my head, like when you told me, oh, we're going to be here, it'll be about the 12-hour drive, and you're making good time. I'm like, 12 hours? Like,
yeah.
I guess that's because it should be 12 hours, and with the kids, it usually takes us like
so the trip,
18.
Yeah, the trip itself is like 11 hours and 15 minutes. Right? So we obviously we stopped one time to fuel up, and then I had to stop I think we stopped one other time. We stopped at Buc-ee's, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So we stopped one time to fuel
there.
up and one time at Buc-ee's on the way up. That's it. We tried to keep the liquids to a minimum just so we weren't having to use the restroom. We tried not to eat just so we didn't have to use the restroom. And we really just our goal was to get there safely. So the trip was actually super duper easy. I drove 7 hours and then Chance drove the last 5. And like I said, it was a pretty easy trip, to be 100% honest. I got no complaints with it. Now, getting there Thursday, the funniest part about it was Hernando's a small little town. So Uber is kind of not a thing there. But we got an Uber to the steakhouse that we wanted to go to just because I was like, dude, I'm tired of driving. I don't want to drive anymore today. Let's get somebody else to drive us. So we got an Uber to the steakhouse, and we could not find an Uber back. Like, I literally tried like 6 times. Every single one of them would cancel it. I downloaded Lyft. They would cancel it. Hey, I can't make it. They would message me. I can't make it. I can't this. I can't that. I'm like, dude, what the heck is going on? So we ended up having to walk back. Like, it wasn't that long. It was like 1.3 miles, but we did have to walk back. I mean, and the other thing that stunk was we were not in shoes to be walking.
Right.
We were in like relaxation clothes. So I was wearing like Hey Dudes and he was wearing sandals, and it was just, that was the worst part about it, right? So we did have to walk back to the hotel, and then of course we get there and we're like, so we actually even had to get our food to go because we didn't realize this place closed at 8. So it was just...
Dang, so you had to walk back with your food?
We walked back with our food, and then, of course, unfortunately, by the time we get back, food's cold.
Yeah.
It was just... that part was a little bit of a mess, but it does make for a good, funny story, and, you just kind of... You roll with the punches, whatever.
Note to self, don't get an Uber if you're in that area.
Yeah, I should have just drove, but hey, it is what it is. And then Friday is really when the fun began. And I know I'm talking a lot this episode, but I mean, you weren't there, so I mean, I really guess I'm the only one that can give the story for the time being. So sorry for anybody listening that's just hearing my voice. But Friday was really when it started going down. We went straight to. So I will say this: Malcolm and Rochelle Reed, they took care of us all weekend long, and I cannot explain enough how much I appreciate the hospitality. It was incredible. So on Friday, when we went to the social event, when we started it, they had 2, what is it called? Like vans, like Sprinter vans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had 2 Sprinter vans there waiting for us, and they shuttled us to the Malcolm shop, the HowToBBQRight HQ, what I like to call it. And we went inside, and man, they have a whole conference room, right? And you guys can kind of see that in the video. If you watch the video, I'm walking through a little hallway, and then I go into the conference room.
It's huge, yeah.
It's huge. Huge. I mean, even I think the time you went with me, you didn't get to view.
I did not know. Because every time we've gone, it's with the kids, right?
Yeah, so yeah, kind of. Anyway, so we were in that big conference room, and they had some slideshows, and we talked about content. We kind of just... There's a lot of different things on Friday, but Friday, truly, it was more of like a private event type of thing. It was something that was for us, and really, that's not something that I'm going to put out there. Nothing bad was said. It's just, it was a private event, right? So just something that I'm going to keep close to the chest for sure. And but it was amazing. It was incredible. So they gave us some great information. We talked about things. We congregated. We had cocktail hour. We shopped in the shop. We had a great dinner. We got to know each other. It just, we talked barbecue, we talked a lot of different things, and it was just an amazing time.
Well,
So,
and not to cut you off, but I think things like that are important when it comes to having a YouTube channel, making content, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, TikTok. I think it's good to get other people's input on how to create and just get those tips by people who are in the same kind of industry as us, because we both make videos and we sell products.
Yeah.
So I think you get a lot of good information from doing things like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that one of the things that Malcolm and Rochelle kept reiterating was that they were grateful for people like us, right? Not me and you, all of their ambassadors, right? So they have ambassadors who help push the product, help push the brand, and they're grateful, and that's part of why they wanted us to come out. So it was, and the appreciation was 100% felt. You could feel it from the second you walked in. Every single thing they did, they absolutely catered to us, and it was just amazing. It was just amazing. I have nothing else to say about it. It was an amazing time. And then, so Malcolm and Rochelle, they had a slideshow, and they talked to us about some stuff and asked us questions. And then, of course, people were asking questions, and we were having conversations. And then Tyler, my boy Tyler, TikTok Tyler, he went up and he did a presentation as well to kind of talk to us about a little bit of the back end of YouTube and content creation and some of the things that work for them and don't work for them and stuff like that. And Tyler and his team are very knowledgeable, so it was great stuff to hear. And again, it was just a lot of fun, and that's pretty much what Friday was. There was obviously a lot that happened Friday, but that's what I'll say Friday was about. And I'm going to say it a lot during this podcast. I'm sorry if it gets annoying, but again, I'm just so grateful that they had us over there, and the knowledge they shared with us, good and bad, was just something that, I mean, you already know that, well, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but that knowledge did impact us for sure, right? What I brought home and told you everything, it impacted us. We'll talk about how in a little bit. So Friday night, of course, we go back to the hotel, just shower up, relax, wake up on Saturday, and there's that shuttle again. And they shuttle us straight to Malcolm's Smokehouse, which is, and I said it in the video. Oh, no, I didn't say it in the video because that part didn't make it to the video because of the shirt. Anyway, long story. Pictures and video don't do it justice. They really don't. It is beautiful inside. The way they have it set up is incredible. High ceilings, bunch of grills. It's so clean. And, man, it's like, I think that's something that everybody really dreams of being able to have.
Is it located in Hernando, or was it somewhere else?
It was somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was somewhere else. So we did have to shuttle for a little bit, but it's somewhere near.
Right.
And like I said, it was just an awesome setup. So there's, of course, the Smokehouse, and then right next to the Smokehouse, which you see, Malcolm and I are sitting on a couch, and we're doing a rapid fire. That's like a little guest house, right, with nice bar. Malcolm has a whiskey bar. He has liquors on tap, nice restroom, guest bedrooms, all this stuff. And it's just, what they've got going on over there is incredible. It truly is incredible. But Saturday was also more than just being in the Smokehouse. So they wined and dined us. As soon as we got there in the morning, they had bacon-wrapped, what's it called? Donut holes. Bacon-wrapped donut holes. They were offering people Bloody Marys. They were making drinks. They had all sorts of sodas for us, waters, any drink you could really think of. They had it there, and they were just basically there they were just there for us and everything that we needed. They made, I know Rochelle made like a little cheese tray with pickles and some chicharrones and some pimento cheese and some crackers and stuff like that. They had it, everything. She had some ice cream that was incredible, banana pudding, just everything was just, it was fun. It was a lot of food. It was a lot of congregation. It was just a lot of filming and just really just hanging out with people.
And so based off of the footage, what I got about the layout was there's the one room that had the couch, the seating area, and then the the kitchen where he had all the whiskeys and everything.
Which is pretty much like one huge room.
Right. And then if you go to the door on the left, if you're like looking inside from that front door, there was also another door leading to the area that had all of the like barbecue pits, right?
Yes.
And then if you look out the windows on the other side outside, there was like almost like an outdoor patio kitchen area.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, so
and that's where Mark was cooking.
Yeah, so basically the setup was honestly pretty insane. So when you see the Smokehouse in his videos, you think that it's just the Smokehouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a literal farmhouse, like a house that's completely detached and away from the Smokehouse by probably 20 yards, 25 yards, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's a full-on home. It's a full-on home, a nice, beautiful home. And then when you walk to the patio, it's a fully covered with a concrete slab, outdoor TVs. You know, it's got grills built in outdoors. It's got countertops and everything. And they have that in the backyard. So that's really where we were hanging out a lot of the time. And then we were kind of walking to different areas. So one of the cool things about it was Mark Williams with Swine Life Barbecue, shout out to him, was there, and he was cooking up a bunch of great food. He cooked up some burnt ends, some A9 burnt ends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were tasty. And then he also cooked up a money mussel, and he grilled it like a steak, and it turned out incredible. It really, truly did. It was a great bite. I actually want to talk to him about if he's okay if we kind of shig that a little bit and maybe put it into a video. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. And then, like I said, they had the bacon-wrapped donut holes. And then Mark made some ribs. And he did an MBN presentation for us where he ripped the ribs apart in front of us, talked about moisture, talked about the color, talked about his cook, talked about his smoker. And then, of course, the big finale was he made a whole hog. But the way he made this whole hog was not a barbecue whole hog. He injected it with like some mojo marinade or something like that. And he was basing it with like onions, cilantro, and some other flavors. Like he made a nice little baste. And man, it was just really good. It was incredible food all day long. And Mark busted his tail doing that. He woke up at like 3 a.m., cooked all day. He was there with us all day hanging out, you know, and yeah, he really nailed it. Shout out to Swine Life. If you guys have any doubt or questions or anything about Mark Williams being a great cook, I'm here to tell you that he nailed every single thing that he cooked, and he's easily one of the best cooks that I've been around. He's got a lot of knowledge, and it's just really fun to be around him when he's cooking.
Well, and so let's talk about his ribs for a minute, because we've talked on the podcast before about your opinion on baby backs, right? Because MBN, they're cooking baby backs. Because, I mean, if you're going to be tearing ribs in half, you don't want to do that with spares, because there's lots of little, pieces of bones and other parts that can come out that you don't want to, right?
Yeah, and I also feel like in relation, they're always really, really, the bones are more crooked, whereas baby backs, I feel like every single rack he gave us, or he had, they were all straight bones.
Right.
So I don't know if that's like because I don't cook enough baby backs. Yeah. So I don't know if that's more common, but it probably is.
I think so. In our experience of when we've had baby backs, yeah, they do seem like they're more straight. But so what did you think about eating those ribs and how they tasted? Did they make you, more open to wanting to cook baby backs more? Because I do enjoy them. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, the way he cooked them, he nailed them. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. The texture was perfect. The moisture was perfect. The flavor was perfect. It's definitely probably a me thing, right? You kind of look in the mirror, you're like, well, damn, those baby backs were really good. I liked those. I mean, you can see in the video. Well, maybe you don't see in the video, but you probably saw the footage. I ate that whole rack, right?
Because he gave each of y'all like half a rack, right?
Yeah, it was half a rack, and to be honest, the bones are very, very small. Like they're smaller than my finger, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't a half rack of baby back ribs. It was a lot less meat. But I ate all of them, and everything was just delicious. So, yeah, it definitely opens my eyes a little bit, and I do think, I would like to try and nail some baby backs because I do think it's different. Now, do I think that baby backs are better or worse than spares? Not necessarily. I don't really have an opinion on it right now because, again, he nailed it. Right. And he made them very good.
Really, they are two different things.
Yeah, they for sure. So, I know that's a common question that people kind of get caught up in. Which one do you like better? But I'll tell you what, the ribs that Mark put out this past weekend were absolutely insane. So I would eat them every single day of the week. That's for damn sure. And like I said, he just nailed his cooks. He nailed it all. And it's extremely impressive to see, especially they're catering to everybody. He's cooking a lot of different stuff, and everything was delicious. So shout out to Mark Williams. Saturday, that was the biggest thing, right? Is that it was there was a lot of opportunities to film. Of course, we got Malcolm with the rapid fire questions, which shout out to Malcolm. Thank you for being on the channel. Hopefully that's not hopefully that's not the last time we ever see him on the channel. I mean, we have big aspirations here for sure. But thank you to him for being on the channel, and I thought it was a fun little segment, right? It wasn't too long, it wasn't too short, but it was a nice fun little segment. Rather than, getting him to film a recipe or something really quickly with us, we figured, man, let's do a rapid fire. So,
Malcolm seems to have a very fun personality to where like he's down for anything.
Yeah. And so that is one of the things that somebody asked us. We posted a post today, and I don't want to necessarily dive straight into that, but you kind of brought it up, so I'll talk about it real fast, and then we'll mention it again later. Somebody asked, is Malcolm who he seems like on camera? And I can 150 million% say yes. He's fun. He's outgoing. He's just a super cool guy, relaxed, laid back, just wants to have fun. Out of the both of us, I would say that I'm the YouTuber, right? Because I'm the one that does the videos, right? Mm-hmm. You're here with me now, but this is more just like a conversation.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you every single one of us that does YouTube, we have a little bit of a YouTube voice, right? You've heard it. It's funny because we've had people around and they're like, oh gosh, I didn't even know that was a real thing until you kind of see us switch it on and switch it off.
We had a complete conversation about this yesterday. Okay, we need to film this part. Do we want to go full YouTube or a little less YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, and it's just what it is.
Right.
But I would like to think, and I think a lot of people that know me can agree, I'm the same on and off camera. The only difference is truly I don't cuss, right? Because I do want to be professional. But, man, when we're off camera, I like to cut up. I do. You know this. I like to mess around. I like to have fun. And I do cuss. I won't do it on camera. And that's really the only difference. I'm the same person besides that. And Malcolm, I mean, I wasn't hearing him cuss or anything. So he seems pretty spot on, just who he is on camera is who he is off camera. Of course, there's not a 100% as much pep, but he's still real outgoing, real peppy, real, you know what I mean? Lively. So yeah, he's almost the exact same person. I mean, I would say he's the exact same person. I'm not surprised by it. He seems genuine when you watch his videos. He seems like he's just in his smokehouse having a dang good time. And that's exactly what it felt like this weekend. We were all just having a dang good time. The best part about it that I can honestly say that I took from the whole thing was I'm not exaggerating, I feel like I walked away from that and I am now friends with Malcolm and Rochelle Reed. Genuinely, I feel like we're friends. I feel like I could, I could reach out to him and say hey, I can you help me with something? And, I just feel like we're friends now. That's just what it felt like. It may not necessarily be that, but that's how well they treated us. Mm-hmm. They didn't treat us like, oh, you're an ambassador. We like you, thank you, but that's kind of all you are. No, they genuinely treated us with love. And every single opportunity they got to thank us, they did. Mm-hmm. And it just, you feel it. They're genuine people. Rochelle, too. I had some really, really great conversations with her, and I have a lot of respect for her. And I've always told you this. She's actually one person that we've talked about before we would love to have on our podcast.
Yeah.
Because not comparing or anything, right? But I see a little bit of us in them, right? It's
right.
The husband-wife thing, and she does, from what I can see or what it feels like, she does a lot for that business, right?
Yeah.
And just like you do, people might not know. You literally, I'm at work. You're here packaging every single order, taking them every single day. If we get 100 orders, you're hand packaging them, taking them to UPS or whatever, and getting them shipped off. That's what you're doing. you're editing videos, and when I'm on lunch or whatever, I can talk. We're conversating. Hey, what do you think of this thumbnail? What do you think of this title? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? What changes do you want to that video that you watched last night? Whatever. Like you're 24/7, 365 GCS and mom and my wife. So it's like you do a lot. And that's why I have a ton of respect for her, because I feel like she's exactly the same way. And honestly, even at a higher level, because
for sure.
You know what I mean? And it's not to knock anything on you. I think Malcolm's at a way higher level than me too. They have just
Experience,
so much going on.
yeah,
and they have so much going on. But she's just genuinely one of like the nicest people I've ever met. Like every single opportunity they got, they thanked us, they showed love. And like I said, I walk away from that feeling like I am now friends, like good friends with Malcolm and Rochelle Reed. And it's like, that's not as much of a testament to like, oh, I did something cool. It's more a testament to who they are as people. They are genuinely great people. Like knowing them now, hanging out with them for a full weekend, they deserve everything that has come to them in life and that will continue to come to them. Mm-hmm. Because just again, like if you can't tell, it's infectious, right? Like just talking about them, being around them, and talking about the weekend, like I'm getting, like I can even feel my voice raising because like it hypes me up. That's who I want us to be. That's who we are right now. But I mean, just on a way smaller scale. I respect them a lot. And, you know, if they ever hear this, I just want them to know that, like, this past weekend meant a lot to me because they didn't have to do any of that. They did not have to invite us. They didn't have to allow me to bring a friend. And, yeah, it's just genuinely so thankful, so grateful for everything this past weekend. Am I missing anything that I kind of talked to you about with it?
Oh, let's talk about the Blue Plate blind taste test.
Yeah, no, that was fun too. So yeah, I did forget about that. Thank you for bringing that up. So they had 3 different mayos there, and you watched the footage, so you know this, but I'll explain a little bit more. So they had 3 mayos there. I didn't know the brand of the mayos. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this: when I bit one of them, and you know exactly which one it is,
yep,
I knew exactly what it was without seeing or hearing what the brands were. Right. I knew what one of them was. I knew it wasn't Blue Plate. I knew it wasn't Blue Plate, and I knew it was Duke's right away. Yeah. Because that's what we use.
For sure.
I mean, we use Duke's here at our house.
We use either Duke's or sometimes Hellman's, but mostly Duke's. Yeah.
So mostly Duke's. I think we only get Hellman's really if we can't find Duke's. Yeah. So I knew instantly that is Duke's. Mm-hmm. And I was 100% confident about that. Then you probably heard it in the footage. They're like, hey, do you want to know what like all of them are? Because it wasn't
like the 3 options, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't confirmed that, hey, that is Duke's. They didn't tell me anything until the very end. Mm-hmm. So they were like, do you want to know what 3 they are? And I was like, yeah, I probably should have asked that, yeah. Right? So obviously one was Blue Plate, the other one was Hellman's, and then the last one was Duke's. So they put them on a little Ritz cracker for me, and I bit it, and again, instantly I was like, that's Duke's. Mm-hmm. And I was right about that one. But I think what happened was, and I think I told Tyler or somebody this, I was like, man, it was hard because Duke's has a very, very vinegary taste, I feel like. After I ate the Duke's, I felt like that's all I could taste.
Right.
You know, I just felt like the other 2 tasted exactly the same. So what I was trying to do was go based off of texture, which I haven't had Blue Plate ever, I don't think. And
did they even sell that in our stores?
I don't think so. Yeah. So I've never had Blue Plate. Well, now I have.
Yeah.
And Hellman's, we don't have it enough for me to know differences on textures. So I got those 2 mixed up, obviously. But again, I was 100% on Duke's. I knew it. And I think you could even tell in the video.
Yeah.
As soon as I bit it, I was like, that's Duke's.
And I was curious, too, like watching through that footage because I like mayonnaise. Like when I eat burgers, I eat mine with mayonnaise. But I don't think I've had enough mayo by itself to really tell the difference in taste.
Yeah.
So I was real curious watching that. Like, man, is there a big difference in taste? But I guess it'd be hard to tell after eating Duke's first.
Yeah. So again, I don't know if it would have been opposite had I eaten Hellman's or Blue Plate first.
Right.
But I ate Duke's first, and to me, it's a very profound taste. Mm-hmm. It was like very easy for me to know which one was Duke's. And then I just, the rest of them tasted exactly the same.
Right.
And I think it was just because like Duke's just
overpowered it.
Yeah, it overpowered it. It was that was the flavor in my mouth, and I just couldn't move past it, I guess. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. but I did get it wrong. So there was that as well. And then let me think, am I missing anything else? I mean, I know I talked to you about the trip pretty good. Oh, so yeah, actually on Saturday as well, you'll see a little tiny clip in the video of, it's from Chance's point of view, of like a TV, and it has our YouTube channel up, right? So what that was Tyler, who is the social director of How to Barbecue Right. Him and his team actually sat down with us. We went over our YouTube channel, and they gave us some tips that they think might help elevate us to the next level. And it was really cool because, you know this, sometimes it is hard to get feedback because I believe people don't want to hurt our feelings. And I get it, right? We obviously take this very seriously, and you don't want to like crap on our dreams or crap on our videos. And I understand what you're saying, right? It's hard for me too. Like sometimes, unless it's Raul or Rini or Kevin, or Bill, I don't know. The list keeps growing. Unless it's one of my barbecue homies, Bobby, you know, it's very hard for me to tell people the honest truth about their barbecue because I know they worked hard all day to make it, and I don't want to destroy their feelings. But if it's like Raul or Rini, I'll be like, dude, no, that's good. That's not good. That's good. Whatever. Rini has told me straight up, like, bro, that's dry. Like, without thinking about it. And I'm not mad at him. He's just telling me the truth. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that from him because how am I going to get better if, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I know that it's hard. I know that it's really hard sometimes for you to go out of your way and be like, hey, that video wasn't good because of X, Y, and Z. I don't like that thumbnail because of X, Y, and Z. But I got that feedback from them. And they showed me some things within our channel that make so much sense.
Well, it's another thing. Some people, they, you know, unless they do this a lot or they've got enough experience or knowledge about it, they're not going to know what to look for to critique.
No, for sure. And I do want to give a specific shout out to Jacob as well. He works with Tyler. He does a lot of work for their podcast. And, I mean, he left it open invitation. He's like, dude, message me anytime, bro. Like, anytime you need help, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you grow. Like, don't be afraid to reach out. I actually reached out to him today, and he was giving me some kind of tips and some insight. So, again, the team over there that they've built is incredible. They gave us some great tips. They gave us some ideas that we can move forward with. And, again, that's exactly what we want to do. So, I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, now to piggyback off of what we just talked about, right? Like, how did the trip impact me, and how is it gonna impact us? I mean, to be 100% honest, you and I know that we've been doing a lot of barbecue competitions, and we've been kind of focusing our content around that because it's something that we've wanted to do.
Well, and sometimes not even on purpose. It's that we fall into,
it's like a pit.
Yeah, of where like, man, this is really, really fun. We want to keep competing. Not even for the content, just because we just enjoy it, right? Yeah. But it's like, okay, well, we might as well get the content since we're already doing it. So then it's like, that's all the content we have to offer.
Yeah. And it's funny because literally, and you can attest to this, 2 days before I went on this trip, I had a conversation with you, and I said, hey, you know what's weird? I said, we need a few videos to pop again. We need a few videos to pop off. Couple, 50, 100,000 views. Shoot, 200,000 views would be nice. Another 1 million view video would be excellent. And then we started talking about it. And I literally told you this. I said, the unfortunate thing is a competition video is likely not to give us those views. Mm-hmm. It's is it possible? 100%. But it's probably not going to happen because the pool of competition cookers is so much smaller than the pool of backyard cookers. Let's just say it's a 1 to 10 or even a 1 to 100, right? That's the ratio. That's the difference in backyard cookers. And I told you, I said, man, I think we really need to start concentrating a lot more on backyard content. And we kind of like sat there and talked about it for a little bit, and we were both like, yeah, you're right. And it's something
and unrelated, we've been kind of discussing that anyway.
Yeah. But I think we have been discussing it, but I think it was just like a, like light bulb moment.
Right. Like there's also not just because we want to and people want it, but we need to if we want to grow.
For sure. And I think it's one of those things where how did this trip impact us, right? So we had already kind of had that mindset like going into the trip, but I said, I'll worry about it later. Let me just go on this trip, enjoy it, get there safely, get home safely. You got to do what you got to do with the girls, whatever. And then being over there and just kind of seeing the way they operate, hearing the things that they're thinking about when it comes to videos. I mean, the truth and the fact of the matter is, for a little bit, we're gonna really slow down on competitions, and it sucks because we talked about it, and then what was it, like 30, 45 minutes later, I was like, damn, I really want to go to a competition.
All it takes is one phone call.
Yeah, it takes one phone call with Kevin or Bill or Rini or Raul, and I'm like, damn, I really want to go because they're my friends, and I want to be around them. Right, I really do. I want to be around them, but how do I say it? I think the direction that we need to go right now is really heavily concentrate on backyard barbecue. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So we talked the other day, right? And we wrote some stuff down. We have some big goals now. And, there's no other way to say it besides, obviously, I'm going to push myself to my limit. And I'm also going to push you to yours. And that's just the way it's going to be. And we're going to continue to grow. And we're going to continue to work as hard as we can. And there's going to be a lot of backyard content coming soon. So like this weekend, for example, God willing, we're going to film 3 backyard recipes. One on our offset, one on the pellet grill, one on the griddle. Then, maybe next weekend we'll do one on the Weber, because I don't have a long weekend off of work. Maybe we'll just do one on the Weber. But again, that's 4 videos in 2 weeks. So our goal is to get ahead to where we have a queue of videos that are ready to rock at all times. Then we can kind of get a little relaxed and say, okay, we have videos ready to go. We have shorts ready to go, which that's another thing. We're really going to start concentrating on shorts as well. I know we've talked about it, but there's no more talk. It's just doing. And then we can get back into competing again because, okay, hey, we have videos ready to go. They're scheduled. We have shorts ready to go. They're scheduled. We can afford to go this weekend and get that competition content because people do like to see it. We're not only here for views. You know what I'm saying? We're not only here for views, but we also do understand, moving my mic, but we also understand that getting views and growing is a part of this. And that's what we want to do. If we don't grow, we can't make new products. We can't expand into sauces. We can't expand into injections. We can't expand into brines. We can't have merchandise for you guys to purchase. Hopefully you want to. We can't buy new cameras to up our quality. We can't buy new computers to edit quicker. There's so many things that they're connected to us getting views, right? And I think one of the biggest things I took from being around Malcolm and Rochelle is, as much as you and I love this, and we do, and we know it's a business, we know that, I don't necessarily think we've treated it like a business fully just yet. I'm not saying that we're doing a bad job at all. I think we've done great. I think we've built something amazing. And a lot of people see it from the outside looking in, and they're like, man, that's cool what they've got. And I think it is too. But I think like this is a business straight up. Like yes, it's fun. Right? Doing all this stuff is fun, but like every move they make has a purpose. Like sometimes my purpose is I just want to, so there needs to be a little bit of giving people what they want, doing what we want, and just finding that middle ground, right? So there's going to be people that want backyard content. There's going to be people that want competition content, and we can give them both. But our catalog has turned into so much competition content, we have to balance it out. So we have to take a little bit of time, focus on backyard content for a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and then we're not giving up competition cooking. We love it. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of great friends that we want to go see. But this is just part of it. It's part of growing. And like I said, getting that, that light bulb moment to where it's like, again, I don't think we've done anything wrong, but I do not think that we've treated this as a business as much as we should be doing. And again, it's not anything I'm mad about. It's one of those things like you only know what you know. right? Yeah. Until somebody shows you something or tells you something, you might not even realize, like, oh man, I'm not treating this like a business.
Yeah.
It feels like every single move they make, again, is just for a reason, analytical, thought through, and I respect that. And that's what I want us to do. And that's what I want us to be. Because I do believe, that we can do this too.
When you're around people who offer a different way of thinking, a different perspective, a different solution to the problem, that's when you really grow. Because like you said, you only know what you know. Yeah. So especially, even though we've been doing this for kind of a while, we're still very inexperienced in a lot of ways when it comes to YouTube, making content, owning a business.
Yeah, it's hard.
Right? So, anytime we can, branch off of the knowledge of others who are in the same type of business as us, that's what's also going to help us grow, because you only know what you know unless you start learning new things.
And that's one of the other big things that I took from this weekend, right, is that there are people that know what you're going through, right?
Yeah.
Whether good or bad. And those people, a lot of the times, they're willing to share their knowledge. One of my biggest problems, and I'll openly admit it right here, is I'm stubborn. I want to figure it out my way. Or that's wrong. I just want to figure it out, right? I want to figure it out. I want us to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not saying that it hasn't happened to us, but what if that's a $10,000 figure out,
Right.
Just because we were stubborn and I didn't want to call somebody and ask them, like, hey, how do I drop a barbecue sauce,
Right.
Like it's one of those things you have to ask those questions. You have to be open to learning. Learning is growing. It's just like with chicken, right? Like I've reached out to people asking for help recently and our chicken's going up. Like I've talked to Grady about it. I've talked to Kevin about it. Why didn't I do that earlier? Why didn't I just openly say, like, hey, man, I'm not good at chicken. Is there any insights you can give me? I don't need your recipe, but is there any insights you can give me that might help me push in the right direction? There's a lot of people that won't, but there's also a lot of great people that will. It's the same thing. Like we've always openly said it. Like, dude, if any of y'all want to start a channel, like we're openly admitting we don't know everything, but we'll at least tell you what we do.
Right.
Because that's just part of it. We understand if you're starting a channel day one, you're afraid to hit the upload button because you might get 0 views. You might not even want to do a podcast because who's going to listen? For all we know, literally no one's listening to the conversation and it doesn't matter to us. We're still having this great conversation. We're going to put it out there and hopefully somebody learns something or somebody enjoys the content, right? And that's why we call this All Things Everything, because right now we are talking barbecue, but we're also talking about life. And that's one of the biggest things for me, right? I'm 34 years old. You're 31. We're still young, but, every day is a new day. There's something for us to learn. There's something for us to be better at. One of the biggest things that I also took from this past weekend is that this is not easy. They've been doing this for 15 years. Patience is a big thing in life, in general. If this happens for us, that's amazing. I know we've worked hard, and I know we're going to work harder because I know who we are. But, you can't rush this process. You just got to kind of, okay, I'm going to do what I do every single day. And one of these days, I'm going to wake up, and everything that I've always wanted is just going to be around me. I'm not going to feel it happening. I'm just going to wake up one day and be like, holy smokes. Like, we got an office. We got a store. We're traveling to go make videos with Malcolm and Mark. We're going to hang out with Rochelle, and we're going to go see Tyler, and we're going to go see our friends over there in Mississippi. Those things are going to happen. We might not feel them, the rise up to it happening, but one of these days we're just going to look around and see, shoot, this is exactly what I always wanted. But one of the other things, and again, it's crazy that I'm getting all of this just from a weekend over there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things is I do remember there was so many times that I wanted so badly to be exactly where we are. And now I want more. But can't forget that there was a time, and you remember it too, we would be ecstatic with 50 views in 24 hours. We're like, oh my God, we hit 50 views, like 24 hours. And this is 3 years ago. We were like, oh my gosh, like we made it, Our first time we ever got what was our first month on YouTube? We made like 92 cents. And we were like, dude, I can't believe it. Like, we literally made money on YouTube. We had so many days where we were like, hey, if we get to 10,000 subscribers, we blew past that. 20,000 blew past that. 30,000 blew past that. We're right at 40. You know what I mean? And now what? We want 50, 100, but the climb is really part of it. And the climb is what kind of makes the end result, which there really is never an end result, but once you have everything that you're pursuing, I mean, all of this stuff matters. You know, the good, the bad, everything. So it was just a super eye-opening experience for me. And I think it was like the day when I got back, I called Mark and I was like, dude, like, let's get it. You know, I said, let's get it, dude. Like, there's no stopping on us, bro. Like, let's do this. You and me, let's do this. I was like, let's plan a trip. He said it's, I think, almost 7 hours to Dallas for him. I said, shit, it's 7 hours for me too. I said, let's meet in Dallas. Let's film some content. Let's go eat Goldies. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Man, let's do this. Like, and in the meantime, we're enjoying our lives and every single thing that we're doing. So I know you guys have probably heard me a million times talk like this. It's kind of what I do, right? I think this is like what I do. And again, I'm really not trying to be cheesy, but if I can light a fire under someone's ass, I'm here for it, right? Like, go do it, man. Go do whatever you want to do. Like, don't let anybody tell you that it's a stupid idea. If you think you're working hard, take a hard look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Because I think that we thought we were working pretty damn hard, right? I mean, I think we do, but I think we know now, taking a step back and looking at it, there's so much more we could be doing, right? And having a schedule and writing it down is going to be huge for us. Knowing exactly what we're going to do on what day and how we're going to do it is going to be huge for us. And again, like I said, I'm grateful for the experience. I hope we have the opportunity again, and I hope you can go with us one last time. Malcolm and Rochelle Reed, thank you so much for the opportunity. Mark Williams, one of the best cooks I've ever been around. Shout out to you. Everything you made was amazing. Tyler, your whole team, just amazing knowledge. We appreciate it. Chance, thank you for going with me, helping me drive. He was behind the camera a little bit, and it was just an incredible trip. The only thing that sucked about it is that you weren't there, right? But we play the hand that we're dealt, and you unfortunately weren't able to go, but it's all good.
Yeah. And so we also had a couple of questions.
Yeah, so we put out there that we were going to be talking about this trip today and asked if there was any questions that people had about our amazing trip, and we're just going to go through what everybody asked. So first one, not necessarily a question. Zach Smith, keep doing your thing, big dog. Feel proud to even know y'all. Y'all deserve it. Thank you for the kind words. We appreciate it, but, you know, I mean, I try not, as much as those comments mean to me, I try not to really let it get to our heads too much, because to us, there's still so much more to do. He did also ask, when are we building your outdoor kitchen? And the answer to that is when we can. I don't know. Right now,
we would need like
we need a bigger house. That's our focus. Our number one focus right now is getting into a bigger home, but we won't talk about that. Alonzo Franco, shout out, great first name, said, does Malcolm have a TV voice? And kind of like I talked about earlier, he does, but it's like not very much more peppy than his standard self is. I mean, he's just outgoing, really, really just fun to be around. Mm-hmm. Daryl Delancey said, is Malcolm the same off camera as he is on? I would imagine so, guys. Amazing, just seems real. And yeah, I talked about this earlier too. He's absolutely the same person. He is real. He's the GOAT. So there's a GOAT meme here, right? So yes, Malcolm is the GOAT. Alonzo, another one. Did you get to try the bullfrog? I didn't, actually. So the bullfrog is actually a mixed drink that Malcolm makes, and it's an alcoholic drink. And I don't even know where I was, but yeah, I didn't try.
What's in it?
I don't even know.
Oh,
it's like a world famous thing that Malcolm does, though.
Oh,
so,
really?
TikTok Tyler, my boy Tyler, the director. What was the number one thing that you ate on your trip? My answer is probably the A9 burnt in, but I'm not going to lie to you, that grilled money mussel was not very far behind. It was incredible. It was incredible. I'll have to make it for you and see what you think, but I loved it. Mm-hmm. Rick Cardenas says, did Did you rub Malcolm's belly and touch his beard for good luck at the cook-offs? Asking for a friend. No, Rick, I did not do that. I did not do that. So great question. All right, so just a few more. What tip, this is from Rini Sanchez, what tip did he give you that you believe will help you most on the competition trail? Honestly, there wasn't any tips that will help me on the competition trail. We talked more about content than we talked about food. So, I wish I had a better answer for you, Rini, but that's basically what I got for you, brother. Caesar Mejia, you're making ribs and brisket. You can only choose 2 How to Barbecue Right products and 1 GCS product. What are you choosing and why? I think that's a great question. I want you to answer that too, right? So think about that for a second. Ribs and brisket. You can choose 2 How to Barbecue Right products and 1 GCS product. So I think what I'm going to choose is Malcolm's TX rub. Nice coarse rub. I'm going to choose our Southern Hospitality, and then I'm going to choose vinegar sauce. So I know I can make some really great ribs with Malcolm's TX plus our Southern Hospitality. That's all I need on them. And then I can hit it with some vinegar sauce. I like vinegar sauce on my ribs. I do think it elevates the ribs big time. And for the brisket, I would go TX, and then I would do a light layer of Southern Hospitality over top. So I would do Malcolm's TX, Malcolm's vinegar sauce, and our Southern Hospitality. What would you choose?
I agree, TX, because you want that pepper pop on your ribs, and I would go Hospitality as well for that barbecue color and
same exact thing.
Right, but brisket, because like brisket, I would actually maybe go steak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with TX and Hospitality.
You can use the steak just the same way that you can use the TX. It's just going to have less salt.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's going to have coarseness. It's going to have black pepper, but it's not going to have as much salt. So I think that's something you need to think about.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, either way, you can't go wrong. Right.
Yeah, but I would agree, though, that if you were to choose the same 3 products for both, TX, Hospitality, vinegar sauce.
So, yeah, those were the questions that we got. Again, if you guys didn't watch that video, it was just released on Wednesday. And
I had a question.
Go ahead.
I wanted to know what you thought about the whole MBN thing. Is that something you would be interested in seeing in Texas?
No. I wouldn't want to see it in Texas because I do think that that's something that, I mean, it's Memphis Barbecue Network, right? So
so not necessarily the food that they're cooking, because I agree. Memphis barbecue is pork, right? I'm talking about like the on-site
stuff,
like showing and putting on a little display or whatever they do.
I don't think it would work for us because we use fork and knife.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think that would even be a thing until they say, hey, we're gonna start picking food up like KCBS or MBN does. And if that we did, I think it would be fun to do. Because you know me, I'm a talk. I mean, you guys know me too. I'm a talker, right? I mean, I feel like I can definitely, smooth talk some stuff in there. Or that brisket doesn't fold at all, but I meant to do it that way. I wanted it to taste like beef jerky. But no, I mean, yes, I do think it would be fun, but I do think the only way it could work is if.
Would you be interested in going to an MBM and actually competing?
100%. Mark and I have already talked about it. He's like, come up and do one, man. I'm like, shoot, I would love to. I'm obviously going to get destroyed my first one. That's okay, though. I think it's going to be fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah,
it does seem a little terrifying because kind of like, and this wasn't in the video, but one thing Mark mentioned was like, a lot of the times it's you talking and you're interacting with these judges, but most of them aren't saying anything to you. So it does seem a little awkward. But I think that it's part of the skill, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, also, like, if we were doing it, I would have to talk. You wouldn't even have to say anything. So it would be more awkward for me, I think, than anything.
No, that's what I'm saying. I definitely would not be doing the talking, right? No. But no, you're doing all the talking, and all the judges, like, they can say something or ask questions, but
some of them are a little bit dry.
Yeah,
I think is the way you can look at it, or the one of the ways to look at it. So I mean, I definitely want to do one. I mean, Mark and I are kind of trying to plan something, and I think it would be just a lot of fun. So I'm definitely here for trying an MBN. The showmanship, the on-site, it just won't work here in Texas until we go to actually judges picking their food up, right? So, yeah.
And I kind of like the fork and knife because I like that tenderness. So
yeah, I mean the tender, it's different. It's just different.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what makes it fun, right? You go to Kansas City and you have to do a different tenderness. You go to Memphis and maybe you have to do another different tenderness.
Right.
All right. It's just
different flavor profiles.
That's what makes it fun, right? You should hopefully, if you're a great cook, be able to do them all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's even like IBCA and CBA are different in my opinion.
For sure.
You know, I mean, like, anyway, we won't get into all of that, but yes, there are going to be some changes to the content. You guys are going to be seeing a lot of backyard stuff coming up. If you want to see anything, we brought the TMG out. We got the big pit. We're lighting it up this weekend.
Backyard's full of pits.
Backyard's full of pits right now. We're literally gearing up to start this push. Let us know in the comments. Shoot me a DM. Shoot us a message on any social media platform. And just let us know, hey, this is what I want to see. And this is endless. We can absolutely do it. Give us some time because we do have our own plans as well, but we can absolutely do it. And we would really appreciate you guys reaching out and letting us know what you want to see. So, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about today?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. So, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that right now. We're pushing and pushing and pushing. We want 100,000 subscribers. We've been talking about 40. No, let's shoot straight for 100,000. Share it with a friend if you guys like our content. Share it with a Facebook group or whatever. If you guys are listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever, like I said, make sure to subscribe to us there as well. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.